A short little practice that we can do to release tension. And it'll probably only be about 15 or 20 minutes. I won't hold the shapes for too long. And it's specifically designed to release tension in the neck, the traps and the shoulders. We spend so much time with our shoulders rolling forward, we're on our devices, but even things such as fear or lots of tension, stress, a really, really busy mind can really bring the shoulders forward, and we start to close off our heart. Ultimately, what we really want to be doing is doing our best every single day to try and keep our heart space open. When our heart space is open, what happens is we invite in a lot more flow of energy, and of course when we have more energy flowing through our body, in yin yoga they call it chi, or even in Shakti, you might hear it known as Shakti as well, or prana in yoga. And it just simply means that we have a good flow of energy through our bodies. Our channels are open, we feel very receptive, we're non-reactive, and we actually have space. We have space in our mind and space in our body. So a couple of these poses, maybe 4 poses or so, that will roll through to create a little bit of space, not only in the body, but also in the mind. So all you'll need is a bolster, but a rolled up rug is totally fine as well, or a blanket. And you might even want a separate cushion or so to pop underneath your shoulder as well. So the first pose we're going to come into, and we're going to come into these poses for about 3 minutes or so, is a reclined butterfly pose. And this is really important to just make sure we find a space where we feel really relaxed and quite comfortable. It's not about moving into any pain, it is to try and let the shoulders, what we're looking for is from here, we want to try and let those shoulders melt and open. It's actually our natural stance to have our shoulders pulling back, the shoulder blades drawing up, back and down. But due to so much conditioning and stress and tension and just Western life really, we become sort of quite conditioned to this kind of feeling in our shoulders. So we're looking to open up the space in the chest, in the heart chakra, and release the shoulders. So you want the bolster on the flat side and just allowing it to sort of come down just on that sort of mid part, not right the lumbar, but just a little bit higher than that. And it'll just gently going to pop open the chest. All right, so what happens here, and please just roll your blanket up accordingly. If you don't want it as high, don't make the blanket as high, so just work with your body. The soles of the feet will come together in our reclined butterfly. The knees will flop open to the side, and you can support those knees with a block if you wish as well, or 2 cushions. And we're going to just let the arms just fall out to the side. There's also the option to let the arms go wide or into a Y shape. If that causes you too much pain in the shoulders, just bring them back by the side. Other option is just place a hand on the rib cage. The palms are open here. And it's just simply about practicing the breath. When we come into this shape, all we want to do here is take a moment to land as such. That's probably the best word. So finding a place where we can stay. We are never ever after a place that feels painful or sharp, but uncomfortable is good. We definitely are looking for uncomfortable. We never grow in our comfort zones, right? We get so used to doing the things that are natural for us, but the things that are a little bit unnatural and a little bit awkward and a little bit uncomfortable, we can find really hard to sit in. So I just invite you to come into this space and pause. And even if the mind starts to do its thing, if it starts to go to dinner, or if it starts to go to something that you might have said during your day and you're thinking, God, I wish I'd said that something different, or maybe I could have had a different result if I'd said it this way. It's absolutely irrelevant now, and it doesn't matter. What's done is done, and we're here now. So one of my beautiful teachers shared this with me quite a few years ago actually, and when I was struggling with my own mind. I come into a pose and I just want to get out of it, I just want to run. And she said, just come back to the words, I know you're breathing in. And I know you're breathing out. So breathing in the words, I know I'm breathing in. And I know I'm breathing out. And we're going to do that 5 more times, just here in this shape. And there's nothing else for you to do here but breathe. Don't even bother about focusing on anything else. So take one more breath in and a breath out. I invite you to very gently use your hands and gather your knees together. Please do this slow. We're just going to bring the feet wide and knock the knees together for a moment for an internal rotation TP pose. To come out of this shape, just walk your feet over to the left, let the knees drop to the right, use your right elbow, and then just slowly move the bolster out the way, lie down onto your back, bend your knees, and just maybe a very, very gentle tick-tock of the knees side to side. And in your own time, we're going to slowly roll up, take your time. Please never ever move fast. When we're moving into any yin shapes, we need to let the connective tissue and the fascia reorganize itself. So it's super important to move nice and slow. We're going to come into a supported child's pose. It's a really beautiful shape, especially with a bolster. So slide your pillow or your cushion underneath and the knees go wide, and all we're going to do is allow ourselves to sink our hips back over our heels, but let the bolster or cushions, so support yourself as much as you need. And then all we're going to do is stay here. So you can turn your cheek to one way, I'll let you know when to change. And this is almost like this mothering pose, you know, this really nurturing, a sense of coming home almost. So I want you in this pose now to just gently start to focus on your breath. So as you inhale, what you're going to feel is your belly will expand into the bolster and your upper back will rise. And as you breathe out, you'll notice a softening, a letting go. So the practice for this pose is just simply focusing on how the breath feels in the body. So breathe in, feel everything expand. And breathe out, let everything soften. Try to relax your hands, your jaw, space of your neck. Just giving yourself permission to pause. We can get so caught up in the doing all the time and the constant pressure of having to fill the space. And the mind, you know, is in this constant state of busyness and just having these conversations. You know, Michael Singer likes to call it, I think, our inner roommate. It's constantly talking to us. So instead of fighting with the mind, instead of battling with the thoughts and resisting them or pushing them away or thinking, I shouldn't be thinking this, or why am I thinking so much? Is it possible just to allow? Turn your cheek the other direction. And when we allow the thoughts, right, when we allow the mind chatter, we surrender. We throw up our hands and we say, it's okay. It's okay for you to be here. And in that moment when we surrender and we lean in and yield to what is,
we start to find a little bit more quiet. And we stop pushing shit uphill, so to speak, and we start to flow with the stream. Take 5 more breaths where you are. Two more breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. To come out of this one, just gently use the strength in your hands and your forearms. Tuck your chin round your spine. Push the bolster out. And we might just stay here for a moment and just do a little bit of activation, so slow. So just starting to move the spine in any direction that feels nice for you. So just moving through this articulation of rounding, compressing, extending, moving into lateral flexion, maybe looking over one shoulder, changing sides. And then from this space, we're going to come into a squat or a frog on the wall. So if you have wall space, please slide yourself in sideways and allow your feet to spin up the wall so that you're supported. But I'm going to run through a squat. So for most of you, I've definitely shown you this option on the wall, so please take it. If the squat is available to you, we're going to hang out here. You can also sit on your bolster or a couple of cushions. But the wall option is amazing if you're trying to increase your mobility and find a little bit more opening into the hips. Again, we're never ever after a place of pain. What we're looking for is sensation. It should feel uncomfortable, but you should be able to be in a place where you stay. So we're going to, if you're in a squat, we're actually going to bring the palms together. And we're looking for a long spine in our squat today rather than a folded variation. So we want to try to really place the soles of the feet down in the ground and have that nice long spine. As I said, please, if you are using a wall, slide yourself into the wall and bring your feet up and plant the soles of your feet on the wall and bring the knees wide. And this is a great option if you ever suffer any back pain as well, but if not, we're here. And again, we're going to be here for probably about 2 more minutes or so. So not super long holds. If you're on your back, I really invite you to just gently let your elbows rest on the inner knees. Again, enough to feel it through the groin and the hips and the inner thighs, but no pain. And this time with our pose, I want you to focus on how the breath feels in the body. So as you breathe in, where does the breath start from? As you exhale, where does it finish? So breathing in, feel the expansion. And breathing out, feel that sensation of letting go. About 1 more minute to go. This concept is generally just called that watching the breath, becoming the observer. And you know, we're not just the observers of our breath, we're the observers of everything. We are not our thoughts, we are the one experiencing our thoughts. You know, we're not the clothes we wear, we're the ones that experience what we see with what we wear and everything around us. None of that is us. So never ever let ourselves feel defined
by the things we think or the things we see around us. Always remember we are at the seat of the soul. We are in here and we are the one experiencing everything that we see, feel and touch. Take one more breath in and breathe out. Now if you're on the wall, please use your hands to gather your knees together. And if you're in a squat, I invite you just to make your way gently down to your back. Those of you on the wall, slowly just bring your knees to your favourite side and just curl into a fetal position. And eventually we're all going to come down to the mat. So we're going to bring the bolster or the cushion out to the side. It's going to be on the right side and sort of where the hip is. And we're going to turn to the right. I'm going to bring the left leg over the bolster like that. So you can bend the knee, have it straight. It doesn't have to be straight, remember that. And then what we're going to try and do is spin ourselves open. So what's really important is this left shoulder. If it's off the ground, we need to support that left shoulder with something. So a cushion underneath that left shoulder is perfect. So with that left leg on the bolster, right, we then start to peel our left shoulder open to the ground. And please support that left shoulder with something. And you can bring the right arm out to the side. So we're coming into a delicious supine twist. And we're just going to be here for about 10 breaths. And this time, all I want you to do is really breathe into the space of the digestive system, your inner organs, your lower back, the diaphragm, and then into the chest. I want you to really feel this breath as you inhale. You can really notice it when you're in a twist. It should be a little challenging as well to breathe. And as you breathe out, I want you to just unwind and imagine that being in this twist is like you're wringing out a towel. So you're wringing out a towel full of toxins and just, whatever your day entailed, all of those old thoughts that just don't serve you anymore. So every breath you take in, imagine that it's a beautiful, clean cloth, and as you exhale, you're just allowing everything to feel nourished and rinsed out and wrung out even. Just experience about 5 more breaths here. Let the eyes be heavy, the head be soft. Take a breath in and a breath out. Do that one more time. Inhale and exhale. Just gently bring that left shoulder back. Take a moment here to curl on your right side, and you can support your head with your bicep. Breathe in. Breathe out. And just really slowly, gently push yourself up. Remove the bolster and take it to the other side. Turn to your left. Right leg goes on the bolster. Right arm peels open, supine twist. And just let yourself be. This space of being, moving out of the doing, the thinking, the nature of the mind, taking a step away from it to become the observer. Every time we acknowledge that our thoughts are taking us on a story or we're not being right here, that's a moment to practice being present. By pulling ourselves up and becoming aware
that we are aware. So becoming aware that we are moving forward, or becoming aware that we're going backward with our thought. It's in that moment we then have an opportunity to pause. Take a breath in and a breath out, and give yourself permission to choose again. To choose something that lights you up a bit more, something that sparks a new, like, firing and wiring in your brain that actually feels really good. Maybe it's doing something for yourself. Maybe it's getting outside in nature. And if you can't find anything to do for yourself, go and help somebody. Go and make somebody else feel good. The moment you put a smile on somebody else's face, I guarantee you it's going to lift you 110%. And that's it. That's all we're trying to do every single day, is feel good. So never ever judge or criticize the nature of the mind or where the thoughts go, because it doesn't do us any favors. Instead, just practice becoming the watcher and understand that those thoughts are not you. Pick yourself up, acknowledge the thought, even thank the thought for showing up. Pause, and then give yourself the opportunity to choose again. Take a breath in and a breath out. Gently just peel back to the left and take a moment here in a little ball. Take an inhale and an exhale. And just here in this little ball, in this space, I want you to have immense gratitude. I want you to feel into something that you're so grateful for. Don't think too hard about it. It could be for your kids, it could be for what you did in your day, it could be for some movement, it could be for taking some time out to do this. But I really want you to feel this in your heart space and say thank you. We never ever know what's going to happen tomorrow. So really let yourself nurture and nourish in this moment right here. Appreciate, appreciate, appreciate. When you feel ready, slowly come up to seated. And just take a little moment here. So close down your eyes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice how you feel. Remember that wherever you go from this moment, you're going to carry a bubble of energy with you, right? It's an energy that you're going to share to someone, the next person you meet, no matter what. So however you feel is going to radiate outside of you. So what gift would you like to share to the person that you next meet? Think about how you feel in your heart space, and then what you can then offer them so they can then go and offer that to somebody else. I hope this helps. Comment below if you gave this a go. And yeah, let me know if it felt good for you. I will be following this video with some breath work, so working into a 4-part box breath, which is really, really great for kids if you've got kids as well, and a great way to shift our mind from that sympathetic, the do brain, into that space of our parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest. And that's the place where we start to heal, where we start to find a bit more space and clarity. We become a lot more clearer. We can just really, really move into our highest self. And that's the space where we grow. So namaste, everyone.